So I start the recording. And let's start our webinar. All right, this one is introductory webinar. This one is demo for you guys from HDL to see and to prove if it's right or wrong. If you would do some notes over the slides, which you will see, I would very much appreciate it because I would like to change this presentation and webinar according to your thoughts about this. This one is HDL Bus Pro introduction. This one is not about HDL as factory, not about KNX or lighting or so, just HDL Bus Pro protocol. And this is introduction, so we will not cover programming because it will take longer time, and we plan to do this on advanced course. We need also to think if we will give certification to people who will attend. In our system, this go-to training system is provided by our Smart Home Training Center and Iridium Mobile. It allows up to 200 people. If we promote this webinar fine, I guess that we are going to have a lot of people every month on such kind of webinars. All right, let's start this one. If you have any comments, you can type in chat. Let's start with web trainings, which we are going to make available. We are going to make available 4 trainings. This one, you see, you are here. This one is introduction. Advanced webinar is not running yet. We plan to launch it later. But this will be about programming for advanced people who want more attention and who want speaking with them during the webinar. They ask, we answer. We show the software, we show how to do different things and how to program the system. Another webinar which is running is Iridium Mobile for HDL Bus and Iridium Mobile Programming and Certification. So that's it. Let's start with HDL as a company. HDL is established in 1985. It's specialized in developing, manufacturing and distributing of different equipment, which you perhaps know. At the moment, there are 4 product lines. This training covers HDL Bus Home Building Automation System, but HDL also produces KNX CIB Bus Series, HDL Theater Lighting Control System, and LED Light Series. Most people who come to these webinars, and I run these webinars for, I guess, maybe 2 years already for Russian-speaking people, they are very new to the market. They do not understand why we need to use control system, and they cannot explain it to their client. That is why I included this part of the webinar of why to use control system at all. Why not using mechanical system, but control system? First, we need to use less connections in control system than in usual mechanical one. So if you have some functions, some additional functions, this is how your mechanical system will look like. You will need a lot of cables, and you will need a lot of special switches. And this one cable connects our switch which does the same. Also, you will need to use less cable. So here we have a small example of how we control 2 light groups from 2 switches. So from this switch, we need to control this light, and from this switch, this light, and this is the amount of cable. This application is pretty simple. we need more than 10 cables here, and here we need just one control cable and 2 power cables to do the same. If the application is more complex, and in most homes applications are much more complex now, this control system solution becomes much less cable than mechanical system. It is also easier to use. A normal person thinks that control system is harder to use, and normal mechanical system is on-off, and it is most and easier to use. It is not true now. If you have a lot of functions in your home, you will need some rheostats and dimmers like this. You will need a lot of switches. You will need thermostats, and you will need even more on your wall. And you can replace this with only one control switch by HDL if you use a good control system. So these were most benefits of control system. There's one more. You can have a central control of your system. You can have a point from which you can control all your house or all the building. And if you have a mechanical system, you can just do this. How does this all normally work? Here I will explain few details, not about HDL bus system, but about automation at all. How does it work at all? Because once again, most people who come to these trainings, they are very new to the market. They do not know how it works. So here you can see almost any control system schematic, but in easier view. So you have inputs and you have outputs. That's it. That's most simple, actually. So inputs can be on-off. You just press a button. Inputs can be analog if you measure something or you have a sensor for temperature, for humidity and something. You can also have infrared inputs to the system if you need to control, if you have a remote control. You can also have information inputs if you connect your system to some kind of another system or device. From outputs, you can have a relay outputs if you want to turn something on or off. Analog outputs if you want to dim lights or you want to turn something on, not on 100%. You can have infrared output because a lot of devices are controlled by the remote control. And you can have information outputs. And this control system is like black box, even though it's a big white rectangle in here, where you can connect all of them together. So if you have on-off, you can have 1 relay output, 2 analog output, 3 infrared output, 4 information output, and 5 connection to the higher logic and timers and more. So once you press a button, you need to turn on your TV, and this one is infrared. You need to turn off the light, and this one is relay. You need to turn down your blinds, and this one is relay either. And you need to dim down a different light group, so this one is analog. So once pressing this button, you not only do something simple, but you do something more complex. That is why this system is much better for current home. Now, let's speak about some system protocols. There are a lot of system protocols. Some of them are transport. Most used transports are TCP/IP, which is a normal LAN network. Another one is RS-485, which is actually not very new. It is very commonly used in data communication. But this one is used for HDL Bus Pro. So this one is a standard and not something new which HDL turns up with. There is also a DMX 512 control signal which usually controls lighting and LEDs. There is also a DALI protocol which usually controls lighting but fluorescent, not LED. There is KNX protocol, which is the closest to HDL Bus protocol from these ones. This one is used for home building automation, and this one is not high speed, it's pretty low speed, but very good amount of quality in this signal. OPC protocol is used for building automation and SCADA control. There is also LoanWorks and Modbus protocols, which are usually used in industrial and building automation. LoanWorks is higher speed, Modbus is lower speed. But these are not something we will talk about. Let's talk about HDL Bus system, about topology, its power and limitations. This is the very simple system schematic. I took it from your training presentation, guys, if you don't mind. So here we see most devices. We have a power supply module here, which needs to give power to all those devices. We have a programming module which gives us the programming ability and control, central control from PC or tablets. We have dimming and relay module, and we have a bus which connects all of these devices together and which goes to our rooms where we can find switches, LCD panels, sensors, and so on. So we use bus to connect them all. We should not use star topology. We should use bus topology hand in hand, as you can see here, because HDL Bus protocol likes this type of connection and not this type. Keep it in mind. If you use bigger networks, you need to keep it in segments. Here is one segment connected to RS485. Here is another segment, let's say it's another floor, and we connect them together using Ethernet with a normal LAN network. We use Ethernet gateway to control this segment to the Ethernet, and so on. That's how it looks like if you have a lot of networks. You have a network, you have an interface, let's say it will be SBDN1 IP, and you connect it to the LAN network. Here are some limitations. If we have more, please tell me. These are what I use. 1,200 meters of cable, but we recommend 1,000 meters of cable inside one network. 64 devices can be connected together in one network if you use less than 500 meters of cable. 32 devices if you use from 500 to 1,000 meters. That's it. These are limitations. 255 networks can be connected together if you use TCP/IP interfaces. Actually, the biggest HDL network is few stadiums connected together, so you can use pretty big ones. We can use two types of cable. One cable is good for HDL bus and KNX. There are 4 cores and 0.8 millimeters diameter. So you use it like this. This is the cable. Another option is to use Cat5e UTP cable, which is good for HDL bus and not good for KNX. So this is how you use it. 2 types of cable which you can use. We have 2 types of connections. I can show you these. This one is old connector. Old connector looks like this. We have just 4 screws, for 2 of them for power and 2 of them for data. I hope you can see it, but I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to turn the camera on. Yeah, I guess you can see it. 4 screws. And this one is a new one, which you better use with the new cable, which is 4 cores, not 8 cores. Okay. As for power, we use 2 types of power supplies. One is 750 milliamps. This one is good for, I guess, maybe about 15 to 20 devices, maybe less. This one is 2.4 amps, and how many devices you can use with this one depends on the length of your cable and on your system. But usually it can be about maybe 30-40 devices. 24 volts voltage is used by default. You should keep more than 15 volts per device and keep voltage drop in mind. If you need to know how much milliamps each device consumes, you go to catalog, and usually each device consumes from 20 to 40 milliamps, but some of them consume more. If you have more than one power supply in one network, you should take this in mind. It is very important. If you have one power supply here and another power supply here, you should cut the power line between them because they should not be connected together. If you connect them together, you will have a lot of errors and system will not work fine. Okay, so now we should see some HDL bus devices. If you have some comments at this moment, please write about this in chat. Because it is nice, to see some feedback that you are there and not gone. Okay, next part. Devices. I decided not to speak about devices showing catalog, but to speak about devices showing the schematics which I already showed people. So first we speak about inputs, and first we speak about on-off inputs, then other. So simple inputs like switches, simple sensors, and so on. DLP switch is simple input because you have to press buttons. So this one is just on-off input. DLP switch looks like this. It has 4 buttons. Lower button can switch pages. This one has separate type buttons. So you can press here, you will have one scenario. You can press here, it will have another one. There is a new version of DLP panel. It looks like this. It has 8 buttons plus this page switch button. You can have 4 pages to control anything in here, so you freely program it. You also have air conditioning control page or air temperature control page. Then you have a floor heat control page and a music control page. So all these pages are in one switch, and you can control all of these functions at the same time. It has a temperature sensor built in. It has IR input built in. You can install it in a normal European round box. So it's round, it's not Britain square, and it's not American rectangle. There is also an American format for this, US format, and there is also a slim type of DLP switch which you need to use with a special box. You can use different colors, normal white and black. You can use also metal, and other colors you can get on special order. Key switches, they look like this one. This one is 8 button actually, so 8 separate buttons here. Or like this one is 3 separate buttons. There are many types of switches actually, which you can use. Here you can see what kind of box you should use with each of them. These switches should be used with US 1-gang box, rectangle box. The same for Australia. This one is round box, European, and this one is square box, UK. The best one is European round box for sure, for me and for whole Europe. There is also some newer key switches which you can use. This is one of them. So this one is 6 button. There is also 8 button, 4 button, and 2 button type. You can use pictures here. There is also a new type of construction where you can use this bus connection module, which is called power connection module, which is wrong, I guess. I guess this is bus connection. And this one is main device plate. So you just install this, and after that you just put on this. There is also touch surface switches, which you can use to turn something on, off, or dim, or to run the scene. Newer devices have firmware update over bus, which is very nice. And they have a new bus connector, which I already showed you. There are 4 of main types of back boxes which HDL devices use. This one is main for Europe, and main for most devices which we use, round one. Same devices which go to round one will go to square box, either UK square box. There are some devices which go only to UK square box, like this one goes only to UK one, to square box. And this one goes to square and round. There is also a US 1-gang box, or HDL special boxes, which you need to use with some devices, like slim devices or with touch screens. There are also bus sensors, movement sensors, many function in one sensors, like this one, 8-in-1, includes movement PIR sensor, light level, infrared in, infrared out with memory, dry input, logic functions, and security functions. They are all in one. There is also 12-in-1 sensor, which has the same as 8-in-1, but additionally it has microwave movement, temperature sensor, relay out 5 amps to out, 2 channels. There is also simple dry input units. You control normal switches to those, or you can control some kind of security devices to those with dry inputs. If you need to dim something, you need to use electronic switches or belt press, and then you connect them to SBDN Dry 24Z or SB Dry 4Z. This one is installed on DIN rail, and this one is installed behind the switch. So you can use normal mechanical switches with this device to control the system. You can also use security devices connected to this one. Second type of inputs are analog inputs if you need to measure something. These are mostly sensors. There are devices which measure temperature in HDL bus. These ones are DLP 12-in-1 air sensors. There's also 4-channel sensor input, which you usually use to control warm floor, or you use to detect outside temperature. Even those, I guess you cannot use it in north, because it measures only down to -20, not less. And we have here sometimes -30 and less. It uses HDL 10 kiloohms sensors, but you can use not only HDL, and you can have some options in there for other types of sensors. There's also a 6-channel HVAC controller which have inputs for up to 8 sensors. These are digital one-wire sensors which use Dulles format to measure warm floor temperature or air temperature. You can also measure power. Power metering uses 2 devices, 3-phase 1-channel or 1-phase 3-channel. You use it with transformers, 50 amps, 100 amps or 200 amps. It has built-in logic, so if power is like this, you can do this, or you can just monitor the power from the software. You can also measure air quality and humidity. 2 types of sensors in this box. First is SBCMSLA. It includes air sensor, temperature and light level. Air sensor gives you 5 guesses for your kitchen and for the garage. The second type is SBCMS-THL, which measures humidity, temperature and light level. They both have built-in logic, so they can control HDL bus devices directly. We also have infrared inputs devices, and these are 8-in-1 or 12-in-1 sensors, normal switches or DLP switches. So you just take HDL remote control, or you use programmable remote control, and you send them commands and they execute the scenario which you need. There can be information inputs into HDL bus. The first type is TCP/IP interface. So you connect HDL bus with a computer LAN network. So the first type for the new IP interface is local mode. You just control it from the local network. New type supports internet connection. Remote mode gives you connection to HDL server, and you have the ability to control your system and to program your system over internet. There's also a P2P mode when you do not use HDL servers but connect to your system over internet. There is also RS-232 device. Oh, I did not show you TCP/IP device, but anyway, it looks like this, the same as photo. RS-232 interface has a transparent mode when you can program your system or control it, the same as using TCP/IP. It also has a Nuvo controlled mode when you need to control Nuvo multi-room system. But most used for this interface is custom string control mode, which has 99 inputs input strings and 99 out strings, which can be hexadecimal or SCI or ASCII. You can flash it with the new firmware to control the coolmaster device, which is usually used to control air conditioning. Another type of commonly used device is integration bridge. You can use RS-232 or RS-485 custom strings in there, 92 in, 92 out, 99 inputs and 99 outputs. It has also TCP/IP interface, which works as a standard IP interface. I tell you that we had a story with one university which works for Russian Special Services. They bought this one because they created booth with the most protocols in it. They need to create the thing with not a lot of devices, but with the most protocols. So this one had most protocols of all. So it had RS-232, RS-485, it had HDL Bus, and it had TCP/IP, 4 protocols in one device. They could not have any of those from different supplier. There is also a KNX gateway. So if you need to use KNX devices like Siemens, Kira, Berker, and others, or ABB, you can use it with HDL Bus network. It supports up to 255 commands. It supports dimming, and it is fully two-way, so you get commands from KNX to HDL Bus and back. There are also DMX gateways. There is a 512 channels device and 48 channels device. I would personally recommend 48 channels device, which is easier to use, but 512 channel device is devoted mostly for scenario control or schedules control. If you just control your home with some LEDs or RGB strips, you need to use 48 channel device. DMX looks completely the same as one IP device, and it does the same, but additionally has DMX function. There are also DMX LED drivers, which you can use. This one is 650 milliamps per channel. There is a big one with 3 amps per channel, 3 channels. There is also a DALI gateway. DALI is a digital addressable lighting interface, which is a commonly used protocol for office fluorescent lighting, sometimes not only office. So you can control up to 64 DALI ballasts or light fittings with this device. So you can see it as 64 channel dimmer maybe. It also includes DALI power supply, which is usually needed. HDL also produces DALI electronic ballasts, which you can use. There is an SMS gateway, which you use if you need to control your system with short messages. It has actually 2 functions. You can control your system sending SMS, like I'm going home, and it turns the climate, lighting, and everything for you. The second type of function is it sends short message to you when something happens over the system, like alarm, or maybe temperature is not quite what you expect. By third party, there are some devices. First, there is Adapt Control Solutions company. It produces Modbus gateway for HDL bus. It produces also a Zigbee wireless adapter. There will be few types of Zigbee devices from Adapt for HDL bus. There is also a Raspberry Home online controller, which we normally use here in Russia. It gives you an HTML5 control of HDL Bus Pro. You can use Internet or LAN. It has very easy configuration. It can use any platform. You can control from iOS, Android, or Windows. So I guess you did not see it before. So I can show you. This one is a web interface to control some HDL devices. So you can dim them like this, or you can turn on and off. This one is a temperature from DLP. It has a very easy configuration. You just press search and you search for HDL devices. Then you add device you need. Yes. And then you just add your switches. Like lamp 1 goes to hall and it uses dimmer channel 3. That's it. So you go to hall, you have lamp 1 here, and you can dim it, and now it actually works. I cannot show you, but it actually works in demo case. Okay. So I'd like to have a few minutes break, if you don't mind. If you are still here, I'd like to see some of your comments. Yeah. So we speak about outputs now. The most simple outputs are on-off outputs, and they are mostly relays. There are two types of normal relays in HDL system. This one is normal 16 amp relay. There is also 10 amp relays. Their difference is power, but the bigger difference is that 10 amp relays work more quiet, and 16 amp relays, they are loud. So keep this in mind when you choose relays. There are also 4-channel, 8-channel, and 12-channel modules. Let me change it here, so it's not 16 but 12 channel. All right. There's also a motor relay. It can control 2 motors if you use 220 volts control. If you use 24 volts control, you usually can control just 1 motor with this device because you need 3 channels. You need to get plus and minus to get up, minus and plus to get down, and disconnect them to stop. So for this stop channel, you need to use the 3rd one. And you need to use 2 24 volts power supplies usually. There may be other options, so just check your motors. There is also a HVAC controller, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning controller. This is how it looks like, the same as you see on a picture. What it does, it replaces standard thermostats. Like you can see maybe thermostats by Honeywell or by Siemens or by Schneider Electric on a wall in hotel or in business building. This device replaces them and has the same connection. It has 3 modes, which is heating, ventilation, and cooling. It has 2 fan speeds, high and low, and it has 0-10 volts down here, output, for VAV VRF systems. It controls fan coils for buildings, but if you use it at home, it can control water heating or convection heating. So we mostly use it for heating, actually. It has a built-in temperature logic, but keep in mind that it teams up with DLP only. So they only work together. They will not work separately. Yes, keep this in mind. Second type of outputs are analog outputs or variable outputs. Usually these are dimmers. There are a lot of types of dimmers by HDL. Most used are leading edge 2 amp. This is how they look like. There are 6 channels, inputs for leaf for neutral, and connection for a bus. There are also trailing edge from 1 to 6 amp. Leading edge and trailing edge are pretty different. I will not explain here how they differ, but the idea is that leading edge is usually cheaper and have some more power, but trailing edge is better quality of dimming. Anyway, your eye will hardly tell the difference unless there are some types of light fittings where you need to use trailing edge. Also, trailing edge dimmers are better protected from short circuit and from overheating. So keep this in mind. There are also wall dimmers with 10 channels, 10 amp, or I'm sorry, I guess 12 channels, 10 amps, and 6 channels, 20 amps each. There's also a new type of dimmers. They are good because they have fuses inside. You can change these fuses. With this dimmer, you will have to open it up and have a pretty complex procedure of changing the fuse. This dimmer allows you to change the fuse very fast, and this thing makes it much better than a normal dimmer. So we recommend using this one. There are 3 types: 6 channel 2 amp, 4 channel 3 amp, and 2 channel 6 amp each. There is also a 0-10 volts device. It has 6 channels for relays and 6 channels for 0-10 volts. They work only together. So channel 1 relay will only work together with channel 1 0-10 volts. You will not be able to use it as 2 separate devices. They usually control lighting ballasts for fluorescent, usually. HDL also produces 0-10 volts ballasts. There is also a 6-channel HVAC controller. If you feel better with floor heating, let's make it floor heating. But we use it for air heating either, not only for floor heating. It has 6-channel output relays and 6-channel output 0-10 volts. It uses up to 8 temperature digital sensors, TLS1 wire. They connect here. It has heating logic inside, but the same, it only teams up with DLP, with floor heating page. It would not work with anything different. So if you install this one and you hope that your iPhone will control climate in the room, no, It will not without this DLP. There are infrared outputs. So you can control your air conditioning, your television, audio, video. Usually in the chip there is 255 IR addresses signal memory. You can use 12-in-1, 8-in-1 channels for those. Real capacity of those devices is not 255 addresses actually. It can be from 30 to 50 signals, sometimes more. Air conditioning signals are big. Television signals are small. So depends on what you control. You can have different amounts of signals in there, in the memory. You'll learn new signals from your remotes with this box. It is called IR Reader, the same IR Learner. It connects with USB to your PC and allows you to program new remote sequences. There is also IR transmitter with current sensor. You use it in two situations. First, you use it if you need to control your air conditioning and you need to put the device inside. You do not have 8-in-1 sensor outside. So you put this thing, it is pretty small, inside the air conditioning and air conditioner and you control it. The same for memory as for previous devices. The same for learning. It also has current sensor which allows you to control devices which have only one IR signal for on and off. Let's say you have 5 televisions and you need to have them all off. But they all have one command for on and off. So if 2 televisions are on and 3 televisions are off, you send this command and they just trigger. You will have not every television off. With this thing you can learn on current and off current, and you need to connect this television current through this connection. So when you need to send the off signal, you will send it only to televisions which are on. System also has some upper level logic. Additional functions are provided with those. First thing is logic controller. You go inside and you program logic functions like if this one is on and this sensor gives me more than this value, then do this. You can use AND or NAND NOR logic. You can use clocks, calendars and timers. Most people use it as timers. So if you need to turn your light on 20% at night and 100% during the day, this device will do this. There is also a security controller which controls special security application. It does not have any inputs or outputs, only smart bus connection. HDL bus connection, sorry. It has 8 security areas. Let's say you have a normal home. What kind of security areas do you need there? You have a outside area, you have a first floor, you have second floor, maybe you have some kind of upper floor, and you need maybe your guest bedroom. So you're going to need something like maybe 5, 6 security areas in normal home. This one gives 8, which is good. You can connect sensors in there. Sensors can be connected to digital dry inputs, or you can use movement sensors for security reasons. So you use day, night, away, and other modes. You send these modes to this security controller from your touch screens, from your DLPs, or from anywhere you want. There can be also a 24-hour security zones like leakage or fire or panic or silent panic. So also these devices contains delays and timers which you need in the rooms where you need to turn your alarm on or off. So when you enter your home, it will send the command to the Z audio, which will tell you, please enter the password to turn security system off. If you do not enter your password after 1 minute, alarm will turn on and other people will come to get you out of this house. So you can use this controller to make all security functions. There is also Z audio, which is an audio network audio player. It has some ins, like it can stream MP3s over LAN using FTP protocol. So you can use FTP network storage, and Z audio will take folders from there, make playlists from these folders, and play music. It also has an SD card, which is mostly used for system sounds. System sounds like your security system is on, or your blinds are up, or more. Okay, there is also an FM radio inside. You should keep in mind that you need to get an FM antenna to this device. And antenna should be good because the sensitivity of FM radio is not very high. So use good antennas. It also has audio ins, so you can control an external iPad docking station where you install your iPad and it starts working as external source for this device. As outs, it has audio out for external receiver or amplifier, and it has 2 channels, stereo 20 watts output to speakers. Speakers should be at least 50 or 60 watts. We recommend to use HDL speakers. Please also keep in mind that you need to use special power supply for Z audio. The normal 24 volts power supply is not good enough for it. You need to use special one. Well, we are approaching the end of the introduction webinar, but we will have a few words about other things. There is a software which you need to use to configure all these devices. This software is called HDL Bus Pro Setup Tool. It configures all controllers. It is free, but it needs registration. Once you run it, you get this window. So you get this number and you send this number to these emails. Then, second, you receive the code on email and you insert it here and press register. That's it. It's pretty easy. There is also a software to control the system from the iPad or Android or Windows CE. It is called iLife. It has a pre-configured graphics. You need to add devices in the configuration software, and it will give you the graphical user interface. You can download it for iPads in App Store, but you need to get a separate editor from HDL to be able to edit it. There is also an Iridium mobile device, Iridium mobile software, which is world's most functional smart home software. It has a very good HDL bus compatibility. A new version is very simple to use and has very good graphics. It can also control not only HDL bus, but it can control Sonos, XBMC, iTunes, Squeezebox, Kramer, and many more devices along with HDL together. It also supports weather information, it supports cameras, and now in new version it supports even sound over IP intercom. So you can use these tablets, iPads and Androids for intercoms and for home intercom system. So check Iridium Mobile if you need one. Raspberry Home Online Controller is available, yet only on Russian, I guess, from raspberryhome.net. It can control your system over IP through LAN or Internet. It is very simple setup, and it works with browser like I showed you. There are also a few examples of the system as the finale. How do we build a small lighting system? There are, I will edit this one to make it better, but let's use this one yet. We use DMX gateway for DMX drivers to control LEDs. We use usual dimmers to control incandescent and halogen light. We use normal relays to turn them on or off. We use DALI gateway to control fluorescent light and DALI devices. We use 8-in-1, 12-in-1 and other sensors as movement sensors and light level. We use DLPs, keypads and touch panels to send commands to it. Where are scenarios, you will ask? You can use scenarios from inside dimmers, relays, and gateways. You can use scenarios inside 8-in-1, DLPs and keypads. From pressing one button, you can send up to 99 commands to the network. So you can use pretty complex scenarios on each button. For climate control, there can be a lot of options. First, you need to use DLP. Do not forget, if you control any climate in HDL, use DLPs. They not only measure temperature, they have the temperature control page, which is needed for almost all of these devices. IR control for air conditioning. HVAC control for fan coils, heating, and valves. KNX, RS-232, RS-485 gateways to control air conditioners using KNX or Coolmaster devices. For warm floors, you connect them to relays usually, and 4-channel temperature sensor connects the warm floor sensor. So you set up the air temperature in DLP AC page, and it controls IR and HVAC. And you set up the floor heating page, and it controls your floor heating. You can use additionally logic and timers to improve your climate control. So these functions are available for climate. For security, you connect your sensors to dry input devices, which are available in this small 4-channel, in 24-channel, or inside many in-one sensors. You use movement sensors also for security. You use security controller to monitor those sensors and to react them. You use DLP to set up the security controller modes. And you use relay to send alarm signals. You use SMS to send short messages to the client. That's it. That's how it usually works. And for media, we use Z audio. We control them from DLP. We usually connect Z audios only to LAN. We do not usually connect them to bus, even though we can. This one is optional connection. We connect speakers to Z audio, and we get the network storage with FTP to the Z, so Z audio can get the music from there. If you need to control television or multimedia, you use IR, or down here you can use RS-232 control. That's it. That's where I am thanking everyone and see your comments.